Kia ora group. We are the group we talk about of New Zealand. The group is conformed with Mai, Sarah, Joao, and me. We talk about the cultural difference of New Zealand, specific for verbal and non-verbal communication. Before to say something, I want to watch. I wanted to watch one video. Please, could you press the rubric thing, please? Oh, you're right.
I have it ready, so it's just charging because my computer is a little bit slow, but you can just start talking about the video and explain it a little bit while it's charging, if you can.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, the video is a form to say welcome in one dancing. The name is Haka. Okay, I think it's ready. Not yet.
Almost there.
My apologies for the waiting. But
It was ready. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
And now the All Blacks.
Okay, this one is a New Zealand team of rugby.
The best team that ever existed in the universe, just so you guys all know.
Okay, we close connection. Let me just a second, I can share the screen. Just a second, please.
Peel off the tracksuits, stand in front of them and receive the challenge of the haka.
Okay. Do we need to restart the recording, guys?
Okay, just a second. Everything can see my screen or no?
No, we can only see you.
Okay, I think I lost the share. Just a second. Everybody can see?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the challenge has been received.
Okay, this one is a little part for the presentation. Good is as my is your form to say welcome for this presentation. Only one question. Sarah, you can share the screen or I continue with share? Okay. For only one thing for welcome to the land of open space where memories are treasured forever. And Sarah, continue.
Sada, are you on mute?
Sorry. That was our welcome to New Zealand. And during our presentation, you will be identifying some of the words that it's from the main people that are called Maori people, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that. Of course, or their communication practices, and it will be verbal and non-verbal communication, and at the end, just summary and conclusion, and you can be asking questions in the chat, and my team will be answering if you have them. So let's move on.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the history of the country and some other interesting facts. The history of New Zealand, as we know it, starts in 17th century, more specifically in the year 1640, when the Dutch navigator Abel Tasman landed in the country. And he had to fight with the Maori, which are the native people in the country. They were living there by then. And then after that, the country was named New Zealand after the Dutch province called Zeeland, which is pretty obvious. But it didn't call much attention towards itself until the 19th century, when New Zealand was colonized by the British, more specifically in the year 1840, when the United Kingdom signed the Treaty of Waitangi, that defined the British sovereignty over New Zealand, which means that New Zealand was then part of, they belonged to the UK. And it became as an autonomous country in 1947 due to the Statute of Westminster, but it only turned out a fully independent country in 1986. Due to the Constitution Act approved by their parliament. So as we can see, it's a very, very recent country. And due to all of its history and population, it has now 2 official languages, which are English and Maori. It's also called Aotearoa, which means the land of a long white cloud in Maori. And its capital is Wellington, and it has more than 200,000 inhabitants, which is not much if you compare to Toronto, for example, or some other famous capitals around the world. Next slide, please. So now I would like to bet you guys to pronounce this first word, because it's only one word in the first bullet point. It's really hard. We've been practicing, but it's one of the places in New Zealand. It's actually a hill near to the town of Porangau, a famous place in the island. And as you can see, there is a kiwi in the left part of the presentation, the slide, which is their animal that represents the Maori culture. It's like a little bird, but a little bit different. And it's called kiwi. like the fruit. Their national sport is rugby. And Maori, as I mentioned before, is the original, one of the first languages of the country. Next slide, please. Let's now talk about the nonverbal communication practices. The personal space is very interesting because it's very similar to the Canadian culture. In New Zealand, for example, they like to keep at least one arm distance to another person. And it's even more sometimes if it's between two men or people in their rural areas. About their head, their head is considered something sacred in New Zealand culture. It's one of the parts of the body that cannot be touched by anybody else. So never try to show any kind of affection touching their heads or even just maybe their hair, because it's considered disrespectful. And of course, obscene gestures. I think this is not just about New Zealand culture, but almost all the cultures, obscene gestures are not accepted and not allowed. But specifically for them, showing the middle finger or making the V sign like this is considered rude and might offend them. So that's also something that you should never do there.
Yeah, so now we are going to talk about physical contact. It's kind of weird because, as Joao says, the personal space is one arm length. So for physical contact, it's I was wondering why they do it. If first of all, their head is considered sacred, so you cannot touch their head, as Joao told us, and they are almost all the time one arm of distance. So for physical contact, they do something called the hongi greeting, and it's showing it in the picture in gray. So it's something that they do to represent mostly part of their culture. It's really important if they do that with you. I think that they are welcoming you, and for them it represents the mother nature. I really like it because it was like it has like a big meaning. So the point of it is just to press the nose to the other person with the forehead. What I read is that the forehead represents the top of the trees and the nose represents the trunk. So that's one of the reasons why it's called, why it's representing the mother nature. And second of all will be eye contact. In New Zealand is most of the time considered disrespectful. So if you keep an eye contact with them, it will be partially ended in a fight, I guess. It's not like here that we need to keep eye contact to make a conversation with other people, or for example in customer service that we need to keep eye contact now, but not there. If you go there and they are making eye contact with you, it's better that you do it, but if they don't, it's better that you don't do it. So it's kind of difficult in that way. And other thing important that I found is called tattoos. In their language, it's called tamoko. It's really important. It's one of their non-verbal communication. What it shares is their genealogy. So you can just, they can just read their history through the tattoos. So they just tattooed with needles, and they also have hand tools, so they can just draw it in their head, or mostly in the body as well. It was interesting because they just do it for history as well. So yeah, it was like it has a big big meaning as the hongi greeting. So now let's move on to verbal communication.
Hi guys, now we talking about verbal communication, about New Zealand people how to communication. They are so friendly and open and welcome and helping people and very kindness. So it's easy going to communication them and then easy to with become friends. And also they really speak fast. Neighbor is Australian people. Neighbor is Australia. Also they think New Zealand people is speak faster than us. And then when they speaking, they not really open the mouth. They keep like small and then sounds like stable. It's not going up. Voice is not going up and then not going down. So it's maybe if someone doesn't used to hear the New Zealand person, maybe difficult catch, but they are very friendly. You can ask again and again, and then also intonation. There's the intonation is like every time going up, so it's like sounds they are asking a question. And pronouns it's like they are, for example, A is say E, and then E is say I, and then I is say you. So for example, sick is 6, number 6 is sax, and then egg is egg, and then pen is pin, and then 10, number 10 is tin. And then they also they have a New Zealand slangs. It's like sounds similar for Australian slangs. For example, thank you is they say ta, and then university is they say uni, and then convenience store is daily, and how are you doing is howdy. It's like this. And then also they Maori people, they speak for Maori language, sounds like also it's like sounds like a Japanese, some of the word is Japanese. For example, they call they say river is awa, but Japanese say kawa. It sounds similar, but it's not the English, it's the Maori language. Next, it's summary. Next page, please.
Just a second, Sarah, could you come back to the important facts for my part?
Yes, I'm gonna try to. Here.
My apologies, I have a confusion, but I have more information for this part. For the fifth one, the kiwi is have 3 minutes, the kiwi fruit, the kiwi bird, and the person from New Zealand is for say kiwi. And for the name for the Taumatawakana Tangi Hakakowat Au Autamatea Pokai Weukaki Tawatahu. I try to say, I practice a lot for say it. Is a Maori word for the meaning is the place where Tamatea, the man with the bigness, who was leads Simba to Slowed Mountains, who know as Lander, played his flow to his love one. Sorry, I need to read everything. It's a little bit part. And obviously, what they say, the news is the rugby is traditional sport in New Zealand. For the Maori is a culture, custom, practice, and the belief of the indigenous Maori people of New Zealand. It originates from and still part of Ernest Polynesian culture. Maori culture forms a distinctive part of New Zealand culture and due to a large diaspora and the incorporation to Maori motifs into the popular cultures is often through the world. And the 26% the all population of New Zealand is Maori. Okay, continue for the summary. Thank you, Sarah.
No problem. There you go, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Let's going to summary. So we talking about Haka, Maori Haka, and then New Zealand history and Maori culture and New Zealand background. And after that, we talked about non-verbal and then verbal communication. And then I talked about summary, and then my friend talking about conclusion.
All right. So we were wondering what to put in conclusion. We didn't know what to put there. So then I asked to my team if they would like to go there, and all of them say yes. So I guess that our presentation and our researching encouraged us to go there and to know more about the culture, even though now that we know a little bit more about what is the meaning of the tattoos, what is the meaning of how they communicate, how are they tone of voices, and all of that. So we will feel more comfortable, I guess. We were very, how can I say this? Like, I will say in love, but not that much, with their culture. We really like it. We encourage all of you to someday go for vacation there and maybe try a hongi greeting with one of the Maori people to see how it goes. That will be it. If you have any questions, guys, just ask us. And haerera, which means goodbye in New Zealand. That will be it.
All right. Thank you.